Oh, okay, we're rolling. Hi there. Today is, what is today? Today is June 28th, and here is your reading. I'm going to keep it anonymous for you. I'm just going to, I have my computer here, and I lost the window with your message. There it is. So, the question was, you wanted to know how so-and-so is feeling about you. He's 16 years older than you, and you're wondering about the future of our relationship. No, we're not together. So I usually don't like to pick, to dive into other people's feelings when they haven't given consent. So, but I can just do the normal sort of romance reading for you that I would normally do to look at the energy of the two of you. So to start with over here, just so you know, and by the way, there's like a leg of a tripod is right here. So if I knock it, or I'm going to have to avoid it, just so you know. I'm not really an oracle card person, but lately I've been trying to incorporate them into my reading. So I picked an oracle card to set the tone of the reading. This is the Nature Speak Oracle by Ted Andrews, and you chose this card. The 9-digit number I asked you to give to me, I used some numerology to turn it into a number, and I picked that, after shuffling, I picked that card out of the deck. And so this is the one you picked for the reading. And then this is your guide card. I also used a different numerological approach to pick this card for you, and I always like to do this one at the end. I feel like this is kind of the guide or the sum of the reading. So I'm going to put this one aside, and we can come back to that one. Come back to that one later. But let's take a look at what the oracle. Believe in your dreams. That's an interesting theme for the reading. So whatever you're thinking about this guy, believe in your dreams. I think whatever outcome you want, be it short-term, long-term, fun, serious, whatever, I think it's up to you. I think that's the lesson of the reading. But let's look in detail. So I've got the cards stand out. I shuffled these before we started, by the way, so I wouldn't have to sit and do that while the camera was rolling. So I'm going to go ahead and pick 3 for the foundation. 1, 2, and 3. So let's just get a little foundation going and see what it says. Okay, so I think the reason why you're thinking about him clearly is it's been a very joyful relationship in the past. It's the 3 of Cups. It's the cornucopia, joy, pure joy on an emotional level. So yay. So things have been good at some point. Moving along, I guess since you alluded to the fact that you're not together presently, there's some. I'm just like, I know that the Hermit is a major and it has a whole bunch of profound meanings, but I'm just going to go for the basic one of like, you're kind of isolated or lonely. It can be solitude. Maybe you're enjoying this loneliness right now, or sorry, enjoying the solitude. Maybe you needed a break. Maybe he needed a break. But it seems like that's where you are right now. Since you asked about the future of a relationship, you got, as you kind of progress down the line, you've got the 4 of Wands. Some look at that as a chuppah. Some look at it as a marriage card. I don't think necessarily, I don't usually interpret that as the marriage. I don't usually interpret things as marriage. Everybody has free will, and that's like heavy shit, right? So, but it is like it's a welcoming home after a journey. The 1 through 3 of Wands are kind of a mini journey, and then once you've kind of achieved that, there's a welcoming home. So I think like this is indicating that, okay, maybe there is being reunited in the future. However, it was reversed, and the way I usually read the reversals is that the energy is blocked somehow. So there might be an obstacle in the path for you to get back together. Maybe he doesn't want to. Maybe you're interested, and maybe it's not right for him. Or it could just be that it's going to be a tough slog. Something's in the way that you're going to need to clear out, or maybe it'll just take a long time before that happens. So, I think that's all I want to say about the foundation. I'm going to go ahead and draw 3 more cards for now. Let's see. I'm going to draw a card for your energy in the situation here. I'm going to draw a card for his energy. And then I'm going to draw a card to look and see what the energy of the two of you together is. This one. Okay. Let's see where we're... Oh, okay. Oops. Moon reversed. Ace of Swords reversed. It's kind of... These are interesting cards for like a romantic relationship reading. So the way I usually read the Five of Wands, actually one of my tarot teachers has a pet name for this card. He likes to call it the Itty Bitty Shitty Committee. So his definition is that this is where you're just kind of like you have a whole bunch of like little things that are pecking at you inside your head. It's all in your head. I usually don't read it exactly that way because I always think of head things as more being the swords. But in terms of this is like just like mundane struggles. Wands are about passion and your will and whatnot. So there's a battle of wills going on here. And one of the interesting things about this card is that all these people in the card, they're all the same age, they're dressed the same. Like I would say that they have the same rank in society. So like there's no clear winner or loser here. It's just kind of like could be like a death by a thousand cuts, you know, in some ways, if this is referring to a situation where there's a lot of conflict. But if it's not really, only you know your relationship. So I mean, if you weren't coming from a place of conflict, I would say that there's just, you know, it's just the basic definition of a five. It's like struggle of wills. So up to you on how to interpret that. If it's just a struggle of wills, or if it really is sort of the battle and a whole bunch of little things going on, impeding progress and whatnot. His energy, I love the moon, really. The moon's reversed, so I mean, it's a major arcana card. So I think like maybe because he got the major, there might, in this period of his life, there might be something more significant going on for him right now that he's working with. The moon is really about evolution, like a divine path. You've got like the crustacean down here who's evolving basically out of the water to come onto land, like all life evolved. The path is long and winding all the way through these towers into the mountains up to the moon. And there's these basically beasts in the way. Yeah, they're paying attention to the moon, but you know, something like 5 times your size, that's still pretty intimidating. So he's got a journey ahead of him. There's going to be some intimidating challenges along the way, but I mean, the path is clear ahead of him, right? One of the aspects of the moon card that I really love is, and I don't remember which famous tarot person's book I read this in, but it might have been Rachel Pollack. You know, the moon, the same side of the moon is always facing the earth. So part of the moon to me is that there's hidden knowledge that you could have access to, right? Because the moon has the bright side that's always facing the earth, and that means there's a dark side to the moon where there's you know, and if you think about what the moon symbolizes, like feminine intuition, feminine energy, divine knowledge, like goddess type knowledge, there's that occluded side that's always hidden from view. And to me, you know, that's the reward for taking the long journey as well. So he seems like he's on a journey right now, but it might be a tough slog for him because it's reversed. So he might be going through some stuff, like not like I guess internal would be the word I would use, some internal struggle that, you know, might not be like something that's manifesting at work or in his mundane life, but like something where he needs to seek deep down that intuitive knowledge to get through his time. So two of you together, we've got the swords reversed. Unfortunately, it's another reversal, but you know, swords are an opportunity that's usually short-lived. In this case, you've got, you know, the suit of air. Air is both intellectual journeys, you know, logic and things like that. So one aspect of this could be that there's an opportunity to use logic to to kind of bring about this union between the two of you. I mean, just looking at it from an energetic perspective between the two of you, what does it mean when something is divinely offered, yet there's an obstacle there? So I think on a logical level, it's saying that I think there are logical reasons why you should be together, like, you know, or why you could be together, but there is something blocking the situation right now. Excuse me. I lost my train of thought. I was going to say something else about this. Maybe it will come back to me. I'm sorry, I kind of lost my train of thought there. So I'm going to pull a couple more cards for you. I'm going to pull a guide for both of you, just to see what sort of advice the tarot can offer both of you. So let's see. Let me pull one for you first. This one. And I'm going to pull one for him. Let's take a look at the guides. Oh. Okay. Well, these harmonize for him. They really harmonize these cards in my mind. You've got the moon in both cases here, right? And this in this card, I love the arrangement of the cups in this deck, because the 8 cups are arranged such that there's this clear hole in the arrangement. Like, so that to me symbolizes what is emotionally missing and what this guy in the card is about to journey off to find, right? There's clearly something missing on an emotional level, and he is about to journey off to find it. And he's illuminated by a moon again, and it's a reminder of that, of all the elements of the moon, right? Like having to use intuition for this journey, but also the fact that there's, again, hidden knowledge available. The part of the moon that's being lit, there's 50% of it isn't even available to us, and that's, you know, part of the challenge to find that hidden knowledge. For yours, like, because the relationship actually isn't happening right now, I wonder if you're stuck in a rut. There's a lot of different ways to look at this card. This is the Nine of Wands. Wands again about will. So this is kind of if you look at the minors as 3 mini journeys, the 1 through 3, 4 through 6, 7 through 9. This is kind of the culmination of the journey of will. And to me, that the fire inside you in this guy, I feel like it's spent, right? The battles, like the 5, there's another battle. Like, if you look at the odds of the wands, I think I have a deck here that's sorted so I can pull one really quick. You know, you've got the 7, and wait, is that on? I can't remember where the camera shows. Like, you've got the 7, so you go from like a struggle here, and you struggle again from a point of higher ground. Then you've got the 8, all of these, you know, the swiftness, like the battle, everything's flying through the air. Clearly those 8 things, this is where they landed, right? After all of this struggle. And he suffered some wounds. Yeah, he's got that bandage around his head, right? And the other thing I feel like this card represents to me is a stagnation of the will, of the fire inside. So, because from the expression on his face, to me, one of the things that I always feel when I see this card is that, like, sometimes you're defending a position, or you're trying to keep something stable or protect something, and you've been doing it so long you can't even remember why you're doing it anymore. Like, if that makes any sense to you. So because you're not together, I'm wondering if this is an indicator that, like, well, are you wanting to let this relationship persevere just because you're used to it and not because it really is your passion? That's my question to you. The other thing I might want to look at is just, what's the energy around this? Like, you just, since you mentioned the age difference, I just want to kind of take a look at the whole age difference. So let me pull a card. Let me think for a second about what would be the best way to phrase this. What's the energy around the age difference, really? Let's take a look at the energy around the age difference. And I'm just wondering if I should pull anything else before I reveal this one. Yeah, I think let's just look at the energy. So, the first feeling I had was that the miser card is kind of like is echoing this card that I was just talking about. The miser, I mean, yeah, on a financial level, if you're looking at the pentacles and the coins as a financial level, he's basically being stingy. He is a miser, right? He's clinging onto those coins so much that basically he's isolated himself from the rest of society just because he's clinging to what he has there. So to take the earthly definition of pentacles now on a pragmatic level, day-to-day life, you know, livelihood isn't so applicable here, but I would say like the day-to-day existence that keeps you going. I feel like this might indicate that there's some stagnation here, that you're kind of clinging on to the way things are on an earthly level, and maybe that is in conjunction. I just feel like there's a harmony between these two things, that there's some stagnation in your life right now. So not only in your will in terms of the relationship that we're reading over here, but with this age thing that's concerning you, I think it's just, I don't feel like it's a hurdle for you. I think like for some reason it's just that, I don't know how, I have this thought, I just can't find the words right now. It's not a hang up. I'm just thinking, you know what, I'm going to pull one more card just to clarify. I normally don't do this, but okay. So let's clarify this age thing. The star. Okay. So I don't want to say anything like it's offensive either, but I'm like, so I guess my question to you is, why is it that you're dating someone, and I have knowing nothing about you, I don't know your age, but I do know that you looked rather young in your picture, and you told me that the age difference between the two of you was 16 years. And one of the messages I always get from the star is like, how can you be a star? So only you can really interpret that advice. Like, how can you be a star and how can you shine in this situation? I think if for some reason you aren't feeling like you're shining, and maybe you're settling on someone older when you feel some discomfort about that, in this case, I feel like the star is telling you that, well, maybe it's time to shine and see what comes your way, rather than being stagnant with, you know, the relationship that you have now with someone who is drastically older than you. However, since you know all of the details, this could also be telling you that, like, if there's all these things about this guy that you really want, and really the age thing is about maybe the way other people feel about your relationship. If you're concerned about the age because your parents, his family, his friends, your friends, whatever, and they're the ones that are giving you shit about it, and you feel like you're the star when you're with him because he has all of the qualities in a man that you're looking for, then maybe this is telling you to stick to your guns and work through it, right? But since I don't know your situation, I can't read this for you, but I think this is telling you to either strengthen your resolve if you feel like you can be a star with this guy, or if you feel like you're with this guy and you aren't able to be a star because of this relationship, and that's why there was concern about the age difference, then maybe in this period where you aren't together, this is the time for you guys to explore. I think that's all I'm going to say about the main cards now. And I'm going to go ahead and, well, you know what? I'm going to tie it into the oracle card that we drew too. And I don't remember how the camera's set up. I think all the black is visible. So given that we had a theme of believe in your dreams as the opener for the reading, I think resonating this with the star, if it's your dream to be with him because of all of his amazing qualities, then I would say go for that. If you are actually stagnant and the reason why you're concerned is like you don't want to be with someone who's like that older yourself, regardless of what other people think, then believing in your dreams is going to give you the direction that you need. So here's the guide that you chose. Again, we used the number that you had sent me to choose this card. And, oh, interesting. So your guide, the overall sum, again, again, it's wands, right? There's a lot of wand energy here. So, kings are really an authoritarian figure. They've achieved mastery over their suit. So the wands is will. So where can you basically refine the connection to your will, to what you truly desire inside, what you're passionate about, and how do you turn how do I phrase this? How do you use logic, really? Because the relationship energy here, there's an element of logic. How do you take this sort of inner fire and the passion that you feel about this guy, about being with him, or maybe the passion about not being with him? How do you achieve mastery in that area and really look at things like get out of the stuck zone, reflect on where you can be the star, and then use that to become master of this situation? I think that's the advice that you're getting overall in this reading. Believe in your dreams, dig in, find your passion so that you can then be the star. I think that's all I have to say. Thanks for the opportunity to read for you, and I hope this was useful for you.